My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia chapter 354, Oopsie Daisy. Last we left off, Toya was seemingly defeated by Todoroki, and now we are cutting back to the battle between Endeavor and Hux versus All For One. And we cut to like a discussion that Hux and Endeavor and Best Genius are having about the one glaring weakness that All For One has, and it's that like this life support mask that he wears that's pretty cute. His edgelord life support mask. So, you know, I guess like the plan is to destroy that mask because he cannot function without it. So, you know, it's the top two heroes versus the worst villain ever. So, you know, chances are not terrible. They start doing their cool combos, but All For One's like, such obvious tactics over and over. You're not nearly as fast as you used to be, Hawks. But,
yeah, there's no one mightier in this series than All For One when it comes to talking that shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, basically their plan is to keep him close and finish him with, like, point blank attacks without letting him touch them. So, you know, it's basically all dependent on Hux keeping his distance and Endeavor like putting on pressure in close range situations with his Inferno and shit. Which is a pretty good plan until like All For One starts talking all that shit again. That's the one thing they got to stop him from doing is talking that shit because nobody's better. He starts talking about how Endeavor's heart isn't really in it. Like even the fucking the amateurs are down there doing their thing, and Endeavor seems to be like his head somewhere else. You know, he's like, you should know. For ages, I've had my eye on your twisted longing for power. But and the thing about me is, when I come across fertile ground, I can't help but sow seeds. You never did find Toya's body, did you? And
Rev already knew. He knows what's being implied here.
Yeah. So Endeavor just kind of like freezes in place because he's hitting on some pretty tough spots for him personally. But All For One takes the opportunity to injure Endeavor pretty severely, it seems. As he says, "Oopsie daisy," chapter title drop. All For One turns his attack to Hawks, who's going over to back Endeavor up, but he's like, shit, I can't dodge. Fuck, what am I gonna do? And All For One unleashes his attack, but who's there to save him but Jiro and Tokoyami, out of all people?
Jiro!
And they do a heartbeat wall. Tokoyami is flying Jiro while she does her sound wall, basically to make a sound shield to protect Hawks from the attack. And this was actually pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Tokoyami shouts out to Hawks, who was his mentor in the internship, so this kind of makes sense for his character to be there on a narrative level. He basically is here is like, I may be a poor substitute, but you and I are also capable of teamwork. So All For One starts talking his shit. He's like, you know, in the old comic I used to read, there were these jobber characters who only existed so the Demon Lord could show what he was made of. And Jiro's like, how about you say that line until you've actually beaten us?
All For One.
And that's where the chapter
right, because she's like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You better smoke my shit before you say anything else, because you really dragging it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that. We all know what time it is. These are off. No, you know. Let me take that back. Am I giving my thoughts? Have you wrapped up the chapter?
Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
Okay, so I actually do not think that all four of them are about to be a pack. I don't think so. I think that them four, with probably the help and combination of others, are going to show that All For One, if they all target one and beat that nigga's ass, you feel me? Give him what his name is. I could have made that more clever, but
yeah,
that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, I'm hyped. Really like this chapter, yo.
Yeah.
And I wanna go back and make a point of something. All right? Now, let's be clear. This is more of kind of the same, but I do want to say that this was a pretty cool execution. So I remember when they gave Darby secondary backstory, and I didn't really have much of I was just like, okay, I didn't think we needed this, but the way he brings it up now kind of as a legitimate reason, like, it made me think about his backstory, and I was like, wait, yeah, and Devin never did find him.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fact that I felt like he built that little moment up for this. Now, I don't, him getting damaged because because he got caught off mentally. I don't know if it's like worth it, if that payoff was super great, but I just want to acknowledge it. I thought that was cool in case nobody else seeing what he was trying to do there. I think that was the intent of the entire backstory for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool to see two kids that we know from one Class A pull up to support. It really is nice, because that could have been burned,
Yeah.
It could have been burn adjacent. It could have been this guy and that guy that we've seen before, and we should be really excited because now they're about to fight. Mm-hmm. But no, we're going to get the Class 1A. I am not sarcastically excited.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, do I even gotta say anything about the art? Bro, this was giving me, like, I told you, I was like, yo, if this ends up giving the same vibes as that Nomu fight with Endeavor, and they didn't scrap it out too much, but these first few pages was crazy. Crazy. He's giving it up. Look at these explosions. And how he's predicting attacks and shit. It was cool, man. I really like this chapter. And as a matter of fact, I like this so much, it's my RGC.
Whoa!
Certified RGC.
Absolutely.
Same here, baby. Same here, baby. Let's go.
Certified.
We out here.
He did a good job. He showed some technique and execution. The fight was lit, and I'm pretty excited for next week. And we're about to see Tokoyami fight, and I guess Jiro's cool too, but whatever.
Jiro's great.
She's great.
Yeah. Were those all your thoughts for the chapter?
You know what, Christian? Those were most of my thoughts.
Well, what are your other?
My last thought is nothing. I'm capping. Brian, what do you think?
I loved this.
Because you already exploded off the top and gave your RGC.
Yeah, this is obviously Brian's. This is Brian's really good chapter of the week.
Certified RG.
Couldn't believe it.
Certified RG.
You couldn't fucking believe it. He's Josh.
No, I mean, I could believe it. This was a good ass fucking chapter. And
No, you can't believe it.
this is exactly what I expect from Horikoshi when it comes to these, like, battlefield set pieces. Like I mentioned last week, I believe. This is exactly what he's good at. If he could keep doing shit like this, My Hero Academia is easily one of the best out there when it comes to this shit. Like, when it comes to the action, the art, the story, how he ties it together into the fight, like, all the things that he sets up and how he pays it off. Like, Horikoshi is extremely talented at these situations. Like, this is where he shines. And I feel like if he could continue to ride this wave, My Hero Academia can only keep going up. Because there's a lot of really interesting situations within this battle. Like, it doesn't, aside from, my bias for Endeavor's arc and shit. Of course, I've said this several times. This is my favorite fucking arc in the manga. All right, this is my favorite shit. So him, kind of playing to that, it tugged on my heartstrings. All right, that alone gave it an RGC. But what really sold it for me was the unexpected appearance of Jiro and Tokoyami. To be honest, I did not expect them to show up like this, and it was a very, very, very welcome surprise. And the way that the way that they creatively like work together is so fucking heartwarming. I don't know why. It's just so cool to see Jiro literally riding on Tokoyami's back. It's so.
I did not expect that.
It's so awesome. Man. I love it. Like stuff like this, like, he just has a way of making stuff like this feel super impactful. And Jiro kind of smiling in the face of total evil is also pretty fucking cool too, because it shows that the future is fucking bright, bro. Like, these guys aren't scared of shit. They're here to fucking scrap. They're here to fucking fight for their future, and they don't give a fuck. They're literally standing in front of evil incarnate, and they're like, yeah, motherfucker. Talk shit when you actually win. Like,
You mad old.
yeah, for real. Old ass motherfucker.
So you talking mad shit to my sensei.
It's fucking evil ass chicken nugget.
You must be punished.
Plus, one more thing on top of all that.
You must be disciplined.
This fight I'm glad that this fight didn't just boil down to Endeavor and Hawks. Mainly because I don't want this to be another All Might versus One for All. You know what I mean? Like, what All Might was one of one. He was literally the entire Hero Society in one dude. Like, everybody kind of just watched him do his shit. But the whole point of All Might not being in these fights anymore is to show that heroes can't just sit back anymore. You know what I mean? Heroes can't just sit back and let somebody else do the dirty work for them. It's time for everybody to collectively put their chips in. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. Everybody's chipping in. Everybody's doing something. It's not just Endeavor. It's not just Hawks. It's not even just Jiro and Tokoyami. Like, we're probably gonna see more people show up in this fight to assist in, like, different areas too. So it's just nice to see that he is utilizing the people that need to be utilized. Like, say what you want about, like, the Shoto fight, but honestly, I don't really care about Burnin. I'd rather somebody else get that fucking shine rather than Burnin. Just me. So,
I don't think it's just you, Brian.
Were people mad about burning? Were people mad about not?
Josh was
Oh
being...
yeah, you're right. Josh was pissed off about that. He said, "You bet you burning
It's not
fans.
her fault.
You burning
Yeah,
fans
no,
better
it's
keep it."
I'd rather that focus be put somewhere else, like towards somebody who really deserves it. Somebody who's, like, been a part of the story longer. So we'll probably see a lot more surprise fucking people show up. Who knows? Fucking even Tape Dude is probably gonna have a moment because he had those little ... dots. You know, like, you never know what the fuck is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I hope he keeps
Cero
going.
If Cero gets a moment,
Why don't you
before,
let Sarah have a moment?
Sarah's
Everybody
cool.
has a moment except for Saro, Tail Dude, Sugar Rush.
he has
all these
duct
guys can
tape
get a
coming
moment.
from his elbow, son. I'm not trying to hear it.
It's not just duct tape, dude. It's super indestructible tape. He's basically Spider-Man, but with tapes coming out of his elbows.
Sure.
I think it's still a cool design. I don't give a fuck.
I like Sarah.
I'm just giving him hell.
I like Sarah.
But yeah, that's all my thoughts. Chris, what do you think?
I also really like this chapter a lot. It's not my RGC. It's very close. It was great though. I mean, obviously for me, it was like kind of cool. I was like digging it, you know, the Endeavor parts. I was like, all right. I saw what Josh was talking about, you know, with the building up of Endeavor never really finding his body and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a good chapter, but it really was.
Right,
like,
right.
It really was just Jiro and Tokoyami coming in because this is just like kind of what we've been wanting out of My Hero Academia. Like, if you listen to this podcast at all, me and Josh are just like, the supporting characters are getting fucked over. But, you know, we're getting these little moments with them that I'm very grateful for. And I'm glad, weirdly enough, this is like a duo I never would have expected. I don't know how many scenes like Jiro and Tokoyami have together.
Not many.
So
I can tell you that much.
You know, it wasn't expected, but it also didn't feel forced. It was like, yeah, they're obviously classmates. You know, they would, I imagine they'd be friends too. So like, this is a cool little team up. Tokoyami especially, he's like one of the cooler characters that, like, you know, has little moments sprinkled out through the series and is finally gonna get paid off. Jiro as well. You know, she had like that whole sports festival that was kind of her arc in terms of development, and you could tell that there's like an affinity for this character in Horikoshi's eyes in particular. So I'm glad she gets a cool moment here. I don't know where it's gonna go. It could be that more folks just show up and it becomes a big, cool battle royale against All for One, which I would not mind. But very excited. I was like super pumped when I saw them come in. The 2-page spread where they come in is fucking awesome. I love that. Like, you know, it's shaded really well. Like he's got these screen tones going on. That is really cool. I don't know. It's well drawn. Horikoshi's a fucking goated artist and a great like manga writer in general. This was a cool moment to build up to, but not quite my RGC, unfortunately. But with that being said, I don't really have much else to say about My Hero Academia. Are you guys ready to move on?
Did Endeavor lose his arm? No, right?
No.
He lost like a chunk of his side.
Yeah, like he got him on the side. Well, the first time it was like a straight up cut to his face.
True.
So
This time he like literally like, you know, All Might style. They like fucking punctured his side.
yeah, he launched into his side. But that's what happened.